Okay, this is Sam Burnham from Sam's Ag and Sport Shop, and we're about to do a video on how to remove and install plastics on the Raptor 700. Should be pretty easy. You don't need much for tools. You need a Phillips screwdriver, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, 1/4 inch drive wrench, and a 10mm end wrench. That should be all you need to install and remove Raptor 700 plastics. First thing you're going to do, remove the seat, got a little lever down here, pop it up, seat comes off. Alright. Next, you're going to remove these two fasteners right here for the front fender. Then you're going to remove these two screws. These screws here, they go through the hood cover, the tank, and the front fender assembly. So they go through three different layers. All right. There's also a fastener under here. I think I forgot to put it in last time, but it holds the nose down. And then under here, you have 8mm bolt, or it's 8mm head. It's probably a 6mm. And then another, this one takes a 10. Be careful when you're installing these. Do not use an impact. You will strip this out. You may not do it the first time, but the impact of that's just cast aluminum, and you will strip them. So that's, and this is the first generation plastic. The placements will be a little different, but the idea is the same on the second generation plastics. I believe this is a little further forward and more outboard on the second generation. So let's get into it. We'll do a little time lapse here. Okay, for the fuel tank cover, obviously you have to take the gas cap off. Take that off, just pull that out, put it over here out of the way. But you also have two plastic tabs that hold it right here. And you just pop them with a screwdriver, like so. Once you pop those, that tab comes right out. It's an expansion plastic tab. Holds that top tank cover down. And since I've got the screws out, so just slides back from the tabs, comes right off. So, and you see that fits underneath and in between the two fenders. Now this, the hood, just pop up. It slides out of those tabs. You slide it up and back, and those will pop out. And that comes off really easy after you have those two fasteners at the top off. You have this grill, this little Phillips pop screws, and then this comes off and it folds into these tabs here. Get set up for a better shot here. That's how it pops. More expansion pop fasteners, and it just folds up. and comes out of the 2 tabs up in the top. All right, this is where your display plugs in. Obviously I left it unplugged the last time I had it off. I'm gonna leave it unplugged for now because we're going to be taking this all the way off. So now that that's done, should just be able to come back here, and this is a slotted hole. See, the little tab, it slides back and you pull it up. Same over here, slides back, pull it up, and you just come out. There's one other thing I want to show you real quick. This bolt here has a little collar on it. There's one that goes on each side. So this collar right here fits in there. And that's what keeps you from smashing the plastic when you secure these. And it goes, and it fits between both pieces of plastic. You gotta line up the 2 holes. And once you do, it snaps into place. And that's what secures that fender. I would kind of like to come up with something a little better than that. Something that holds. Part of the problem that I'm trying to fix with the cross brace is when you sit on this fender, you'll actually break these. It'll stretch these and break these right here, especially the portion for the rear fender. It's not such a problem for the front fender, but I've broke, I don't know how many sets of fenders. And what I end up doing is drilling holes down here and zip tying the fender to the frame. And it's a big pain in the butt every time you got to take it off. It really makes a nasty, ugly sore spot. It breaks the heck out of the fenders and looks pretty bad. So anyway, we'll pull this collar back out. And if you notice, I didn't have one of those collars on the other side when I took it out. If you watch the video, it's actually down in here. I dropped it down in there last time I had the fenders off. But we're gonna take that off. And now that everything's out, you can pretty much get those both removed. And let's get a better shot here. You just spread those out. That's what I broke. See? Be careful, as I broke these. If you look, that's supposed to be together. Last time I took it apart, it was really cold. The plastic was brittle, and I was taking those off, and I snapped it right there. So see that? That shouldn't break. So you got to be careful when you take them off, because I broke these. But as a whole, that's how you pull the fenders off. The rear fender is pretty simple as well. You have fastener here, and a fastener over here. Those are the only 3 fasteners on the rear fender, other than the 2 for the front fender that go in conjunction with it. I'll take that back. There's also, I don't have them in, but there's also a place for a supporting fender here off the rear grab bar. There should be bolts in there. I just haven't put them back in. I've been riding it without them. But those braces do a good job. The trick is, that makes it complicated, is your wire harness runs up in here, and these wires, these relays and electrical boxes connect in here. This one's got a little clip tab you got to push, and that comes out. But most of them just slide off of these tabs. And there's 3 that just slide on and 1 that's clipped in. That harness can fit in there kind of tight. Make it a little bit of a pain to get back on. Alright. So, and we're going to put these back on. I'm not taking the rear fender off. I think you can get the gist of this just by looking at what I got. Let's review the rear fender bolts to the front fender, along with these clips where it clips in here. 1 fastener with a collar at the back, a fastener for each side bracket, fender stay, and then 1 bolt that goes to each side of the rear grab bar. And that's how you pull the fenders off of a Raptor 700. And just reverse process to install it. I hope this is a good enough video for you. I hope you get enough detail out of this. Super excited about this. I really liked what you were doing with the drawings, where it looked like this came up more of a square angle. It wasn't so rounded, it's more squared off. Almost, if you saw the Cyber Quad, okay, I was talking about your fender design, and I liked how it kind of had a squared off look, came up from there, and then tapered more flat. I like that flat look that you had without the little side flares. I mean, you might do some tweaks to it, whatever. I kind of like the way you're going with it. It'll be interesting to see. I think I would like that look on the front one as well, where it's more flat, you know, instead of rounded, you know. And one of the things I think I really like about it being flat is it'll make putting decals on so much easier. Because I don't know if you've ever put a flat sticker and stretched it to a curved surface, but it's a pain. And that's what we have to do when we put our racing decals on. And I'll explain a little bit. And the 450 is not even quite as bad as the 700, but this thing's pretty dirty. But if you look here, see how it's bubbled? You're constantly fighting that, trying to put these plastics on that bubble, you know, trying to stretch it to that curved surface. And this has got a lot of curves, even with that rise up. So I think with that, if you do that flat design, I think I'll really like that. I don't know what other guys will think, but you're putting graphics on. So they're trying to make sure you get all those bubbles out. There's a bubble right here. You know, there's bubbles all over these. I know it looks fairly nice, just dirty. But here's your video for taking your fenders on and off. And hope this is a good video. I'll do some editing and get it out to you. Let's sand burn them and we'll see. Okay, well, I missed some. So for the tank hood, you have these 2 clips. It's even inset a little bit, you know, and it's the same on this 1st and 2nd generation. So one thing I wanted to point out on the 1st and 2nd generation is, actually let me go show you on this one in the house real quick. the second generation, and it was actually a good idea. But this hood here actually gives you access. They move it forward far enough that you have access to the radiator cap right here. So, and what I'll show you on the other one is that that's covered. You do not have access to the radiator cap on the first generation. Let's just take this in and show you side by side. You know, it looks very similar. It's hard to tell from there. But they did move, that's what the big redesign was, is they moved that hood forward on the frame and changed the angle a little bit. So when you put this on, it completely covers the radiator cap, and you don't have access to the radiator. On the other one you do.